What is up, guys? Welcome to the Gold Star Podcast. Myself, C-Money TCG, and the Bearded Trainer over here bringing you guys our weekly podcast talking about all things Pokemon, investing, collecting, all that good stuff. We are a collecting podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the podcast. We are glad to have you. We got new episodes going up every single Friday at 11. Myself and the Bearded Trainer here, and this is a special one this week because this is the very first ever release day edition of the Gold Star Podcast. Today is the official release of Darkness Ablaze. Many of you have already gotten it early or have seen many creators already open it. I did a box last week. Austin is actually doing one tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in just one second. You've probably seen Leonhardt, Nate, all the guys doing it. It's an awesome set, but today is the official release day, and we are going to be talking to you guys about investing, pricing, collectability, stuff like that with the new set. Kind of celebrate there being a new set. We'll probably try to do this pretty much every time a set comes out. I feel like we'll try to something like this. So today's all about Darkness Ablaze, but first we have something very exciting. Our dude, the Bearded Trainer over here, is officially kicking off his own YouTube channel. Austin, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and take the leap here. Instagram's kind of fun, and I do my stuff on there if you follow along, but I figured I'd go ahead and take the leap and start a YouTube channel. So a little quick description, it's going to be pack openings. So if you're into the pack openings, I'm going to do that. Lots of modern stuff. Maybe if I can get my hands on it in the future, maybe some vintage stuff. That's always a little harder, but I'm also going to dive into PSA stuff, grading cards, because I do a lot of that on the side that you don't really see a lot of. So I may post some videos on like how to submit cards, prep cards, get stuff ready and sending out a submission, along with, giveaways and all the other stuff I do on my Instagram. It'll just be now on YouTube. So my first goal is going to be try to post, 3 days a week. I'm kind of looking right now, maybe Monday, Wednesday, back on C-Money Collins channel here on Fridays for the Gold Star Podcast, and then followed up on Saturday. So I'm trying to post about 3 days a week to start out. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I will have the picture of his channel on the screen as well in the description below. Let's try to get this dude to 100 subscribers. He's just getting started, so he's got a little ways to go. So if you are watching this, please take 2 seconds out of your day. Go click the link in the description below or search for the Bearded Trainer. It's Bearded Trainer 2. Is that what your channel is?
Yeah, I know if you just search up Bearded Trainer.
Okay.
I believe the name is Bearded Trainer. It'll have my logo, which will pop up on the screen here.
Or just click the link below. It'll be there.
Yeah. Same logo as everything else. It's me with the best Pokemon ever, which is Arcanine.
Yes.
So take a look. Also, I'll be doing live box breaks in the future there if we get some growth on that channel. So just take a look. Keep a lookout for stuff happening.
Yep, go subscribe to him, show him some love, just like you've shown this podcast some love. I believe this is like the official month, by the way, of the Gold Star Podcast, so thank you guys so much for the support. This has been an awesome little adventure for both of us. We've really enjoyed it, and I think you guys have too, just going off the comments and stuff, so we're going to keep trying to grow this thing, and thank you for the support. So without further ado, we're going to jump into Darkness Ablaze. We've talked about this set a ton. It's been mostly Charizard related, so we're going to touch on the Charizard, but this is going to be widely focused on other cards in the set today. Shine some love, some light, some love, whatever you want to say on some of the rest of the set outside Charizard. So we will hit Charizard real quick, but we're going to jump over here to the monitor. We're on Pokelect. If you don't use this website, it's a great website to kind of organize your collection, what you need and stuff. But this is the entire set list over here that we are looking at. Real quick, hit some of the highlights. You obviously have the Charizard V and the V Max here. The Houndoom is a pretty cool card. You got 4 arts of both those. You got Cinescorch V and V Max, 4 art of the V. Vikavolt is there. You got Rhyperior, Galarian Slowbro, Crowbar, Grimmsnarl, Eternitus, all these big cards. You can see the Salamence. Down here, you go down, you have your rainbows and your gold cards. So we're going to go over kind of the big money cards right now. We have a couple of them pulled up that we'll talk to you. But let's start out with the obvious one here. It is the Charizard VMAX. We're going to jump over to TCG Player real quick, and then we'll go back to our full screen here. Charizard VMAX, market price currently $112.99. $94 is the lowest listed near mint. This is off a TCG Player, which is what a lot of people kind of base prices and stuff off of a lot of the times. So it looks like $94 all the way up to $112 is what you're kind of looking at for this card already. Austin and I have both pulled this card, and we're going to touch on this very quickly because I feel like we have hammered this point home a little bit already. Do not buy this card for $100. I pulled one in my first ever box. Austin, why don't you go ahead and tell them what you did?
Yeah, so last night, well, turn it back. Yesterday, I get home from work and my pre-order, my 6 cases, a quarter of it sitting over here. This is just for show. I figured I'd stack them out there for you. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just grab a box. You know, kind of feel or scratch the itch, if you will, of this set and just get a box out of the way. So, you know, I'm cracking open some packs, and lo and behold, I pull the Charizard VMAX, and of course, I'm grateful I pulled it. It's great. I know that this card isn't going to hold its value for a while, but immediately after that, 2 packs in, I pull a second one.
Out of the same box.
2 Charizard VMAXs. The picture I've already, obviously, like the smart person with investing cards and flipping them, have already sold one of them, so that one is gone and probably arrived at whoever bought it now.
Yeah.
But if you go check out my Instagram, there's a picture of both of them pulled, literally almost back to back, but out of the same booster box. Great. However, that's just a huge sign that this card probably isn't going to be as expensive as we think it's going to.
And you probably had an abnormality with the 2-in-1 box. Like, yes. I think average we've seen, like, I've been seeing 1 in 3, or I've seen you're averaging 2 to 3 per case. Yeah. Is what is seemed like, which that's very common. Yes. Like, a case is 6 booster boxes, so like basically every other booster box you open, you're probably getting this card. Like, that is not rare at all, like, whatsoever. You think about all the rainbow cards that you've been hunting, if you open up cards and stuff, all the like big chase cards, like, that is nothing.
Well, so heck, even to go back to a set like Rebel Clash, which we hate to bring up,
I still haven't pulled the Dragapult or anything.
The Dragapult VMAX is a hard card to pull. This Charizard VMAX is way easier to pull than that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they're popping up left and right. So
I'll go ahead and tell y'all, the one that I sold, that I pulled in last Saturday's video, I sold it immediately for $200. I got on and did some research. I saw how much it was going for, and just seeing a lot of people pull it on Facebook, I was like, this thing's probably going to be common. So I sold it, and I got $200 for it immediately.
A week later.
1 week later, Austin sells his for $100, right? Or 120.
Yeah, it was after all the fees and stuff. It was about $100, but I will tell you right now, people are getting smarter and they know it's being pulled, because I posted it for 140, which at the time of me pulling it and posting it, the average price on eBay was about 130, 140. So that's what I posted it for. However, people are starting to realize that they're pulling it left and right. So I haggled a little bit, but I settled it. It was about $100 after it's all said and done.
So you see on TCG Player, some of them were 99. I saw a guy on Facebook in a Facebook group the other day selling 3 of them for 300, or sorry, 4 of them for 300. So it's going to keep going down. This is still pre-release, these prices. We're recording this on a Wednesday for reference. By the time you watch this card may be even less. It's going to keep going down. I honestly believe it's going to be around what that Evolution Charizard was for a while. We're probably going to land in the $20 to $30 mark and stay there, because it's a Zard. It probably shouldn't deserve to stay there. Like, it really shouldn't, but it's probably going to stay there because it is a Zard. But this thing is very common.
Especially if they end up doing what they did with the Evolutions and print this set into the ground.
Which they very well might, because it's a cool set. But
it is.
Don't spend that money on the Charizard. Wait, pull one yourself. I promise you'll be able to pull it if you open up a handful of packs. And we'll leave it at that. We've already talked about this card a lot. We don't want to burn you guys on the same topic. So, but that is your disclaimer at the start of this video. We wanted to get that out of the way. Don't spend $100 on the Charizard VMAX. Hold out. It's going to go down easily. So let's get back into some of these other cards. I'm going to flip back over to the monitor here. We'll get out of the Charizard VMAX. Let's talk about some of these others. Let's go to Eternitus. Eternitus is a very cool Pokemon. For those of you that don't know or didn't play the games, Eternitus is the big evil legendary. You have Zacian and Zamazenta, and Eternitus is the evil one. Super cool Pokemon. It's like a giant poison demonic. Like, it's one of the most demonic looking Pokemon they've ever made. Like, before it was probably Giratina. This is probably tops Giratina for how, like, just evil.
And honestly, so far, it's one of the harder cards to pull in this set so far. So,
and it's very good in the game. So let's start with the V card. This is the normal V. So this is just the normal ultra rare at the time of recording this. You're going for about 10 to 12 bucks, which is a good chunk of change for a V card. I don't know a lot about the game. Austin does a little bit, but this card, from what I've heard, is very good. It also looks gorgeous. You have all the lightning and stuff in the background. We looked at this when I pulled it this week. Very cool card. The Eternitus VMAX is an incredible card in the game and is going to be very, very, very prevalent. You have a promo coming out in a box. I don't know how that's going to affect price. Like, you will have the Eternitus V and VMAX box, I believe. Yeah, the Eternitus VMAX, they're making a promo box. So it may lower it a little bit, like the Zacian. But right now, this thing's going for like 30 bucks, 25 to 30 bucks for just the VMAX. It's very good in the game. And of course, the Eternitus VMAX Rainbow, which is what we believe is the big chase card in the set. This and the 2 gold shinies. The Rainbow Eternitus VMAX, you're looking at about $40 right now. $37 plus shipping, most likely, if you get on eBay or something like that. You're looking at about 37 to 40 bucks for the Rainbow. This card's awesome. I am a personal, like, this is probably my favorite card in the set. I think it looks super cool. It looks super kind of menacing, and the Rainbow, I don't know. I think it looks really cool. If you see it like in person with the like glitter and stuff actually on it, like, the card looks incredible.
And honestly, just to hit on that Eternitus V card that you were saying, competitively, if you're looking at it right now, the Dynamax cannon, which is one of its moves here, it says if your opponent active Pokemon is a Pokemon VMAX, this attack does 120 more damage on top of what it already does. So I mean, it's a big hitter card as far as competitive standpoint. So that's another plus one. I've also now decided to start looking more into competitive play, because that's where you can see that some of these cards, as far as like, you know, not the big hitters like, you know, Charizard and all these big cards, but like if you look at a competitive standpoint, that's why the Crobat, to bring another card up, is solidly selling for anywhere from like $25 to $35 because it's so good in competitive play.
Well, while we're on that, so let's jump over to the Crobat here. I'll jump back over the screen. We're on TCG Player again. Crobat V, just the regular V, is going for $30.
Yep.
27 is the lowest one. Most of them are averaging right around $30. That's just the regular V Ultra Rare because it is so good in the game. Shaman EX was the last time we probably saw this, and Tapu Lele GX. But Shaman was the big one. This is basically Shaman 2.0 in the game from Rolling Skies. That card was like $50 forever for the entirety of its life. Crobat will probably hold that value unless they make a promo out of it.
Yeah, and honestly, look what they did. Base set with Zacian. They said, "Oh, this card's good competitively. It's very popular. It's going for a lot," and then they made a promo out of it.
We'll jump over to the 4 here. The 4 is going for $40. Is the like lowest at 40 to 45 is what you're looking at for the V. Cool looking card. I love the just crazy background you got going on the 4. But this is one that is probably going to hold its value because of how good it is until it gets out of rotation. And even then, with it, the game does what they call like expanded, where you can still play cards that aren't necessarily in the main rotation and stuff. So this thing's probably going to hold its value for a long time. We saw it with Shaman. They never made a promo out of Shaman. There are currently no plans that we know of for this Crobat to have a promo. They may once they see just how. I mean, sure, they know how popular it is. They're not stupid. Like they know how broken they made it in the game, but. So if we see a promo, you may see the price drop, but until that happens, this thing's probably not going to drop. Once there get like a whole bunch of them out there, you may see it go down to maybe like $25-$30.
But I mean,
but $25-$30 for a V Ultra Rare,
that's top of the line for a V card.
And we saw that with Zacian, but then they went out and made the promo, so it got tanked. But so hopefully they won't do that with Crobat, and you'll have a very expensive V Ultra Rare for a very long time. That's kind of what you're probably going to be looking at for Crobat. Let's jump back over the monitor. We'll be jumping back and forth a lot. Next one we wanted to look at was the Rillaboom. Other than the Eternitus, the Rillaboom seems to be the other big chase card. I think Eternitus is the rarest card in the set. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive Eternitus, like the whole set was based around Eternitus and Charizard, Darkness Ablaze. Like that was the whole set was what they were mainly basing around, were those two Pokemon.
And I hate to say it, but that's maybe why they chose, not to have a hyper rare Charizard, to kind of maybe focus this as like an Eternitus.
Yeah.
Like this is his kind of set. Which I'm okay with. I'm still a little upset, but like you said, that's a great card.
Yeah. Now we jump over to the Rillaboom. This is probably the secondary chase card, if you will. The gold shiny Rillaboom. It is shiny. Right now you're sitting at about $40. I do think for what we've seen, and we talked about a little bit before, it seems that people are having trouble pulling the Colossal over the Rillaboom. But the Colossal down here is $20. You can kind of see on the screen here. Colossal's going for about $20. Rillaboom's $40. Rillaboom's more popular. It's a cool Pokemon. The card looks awesome. It's a shiny starter. All the starters in Sword and Shield were good. I think a lot of people like them all pretty evenly. So, I mean, that's just going to be a popular card. I mean, it's a shiny, like, awesome starter. I mean, it is what it is. Let's jump over here to the Salamence. Salamence VMAX Hyper Rare. You're looking at about $25. This one I don't really expect to... This is probably one of the ones that's going to drop down. What we see a lot of the times with these hyper rares, we've seen a lot with Sun and Moon sets. You'll see them come out. They'll be high when they start. Then if they don't have a lot of competitive viability, they'll drop a little bit. This will probably get down to like $15, which is around what a lot of these average. It's probably going to stay there. Then once the sets are out of print, you'll see them go up a little bit. We're seeing that with a lot of the Sun and the Moon sets. It's getting really hard to find some of the hyper rares. I went back and I was trying to finish off my big trainer cards from Cosmic Eclipse. I want not the trainers, but the GX ones, the Silvally, the Rainbow Solgaleo and Lunala with Lily in it, and the Reshiram and Zekrom with N. I was trying to get those rainbows and finish off like kind of what I wanted to have, and from Cosmic Eclipse, those things are up to like $40 right now. So, and those were ones we saw them at 15 for a while, and then the set got out of print. So now you're starting to see kind of those popular cards, which Salamence will probably be. So I mean, that's kind of, kind of what's probably going to happen with those.
A lot of the questions I get asked when it comes to what cards to invest in, what cards to keep, I always tell people it's nostalgia is a big one, which is why some of your earlier generation Pokemon hold their value. Playability. So from the competitive standpoint, if you actually read the card and you understand how to play the game, if it looks like a good card, that card is probably one that's going to hold its value longer than some of these other ones. And then honestly, looks and popularity. So for instance, like that Salamence card, it's popular. It's a well-liked Pokemon right now, and it's a new set, new card, hyper rare rainbow. So popularity of this card is up. Once people realize that it's not very playable, people start pulling it more, then it's going to drop. But then, like you said,
once it's out of print, collectability goes up because it's a popular Pokemon. Fan favorite.
Exactly. A lot of people I've seen do videos, or there's this thing they can do where you put different types of Pokemon and the popularity over the years as it goes. You have, and if you're into Pokemon, you know which Pokemon's popular, which ones aren't. So from an investment or collector standpoint, like if you have Pokemon cards and you pull them and you sell some, I would always keep maybe one of the ones that are going to be popular if you're one that likes to hold on to them, because over time they will jump in price.
You see this a lot too. I'm going to jump over just because everyone knows Hidden Fates. We're not going to harp on Hidden Fates very long. But, like, people were talking to me, like, okay, outside of Charizard, what do you do? Like, obviously, we said the Evolutions. Those are popular. I was telling people, go buy up the Greninjas. Because Greninja, Pokemon does a poll every single year. And the last 3 years, Greninja has been the most popular Pokemon, as voted by people. And that card was sitting at like $15 because it was overshadowed by the Evolutions and the Charizard. You're already starting to see that one go up. I've been submitting every single one of those to PSA because it's got the popularity factor. The same thing goes into any set. That's just a very common example of one that I've been shoving in people's face as kind of a card that I wanted, like a sleeper in Hidden Fates, if you will. But you can apply that to like that principle of just popularity to literally any set. And so like the Salamence probably has that. We'll jump back over to the monitor here. It's a very cool card, popular. You're probably going to see this guy drop to 15. You can probably hold off if you want to buy this thing. Hold off a couple weeks. You will probably see it drop to like $15. Then after the set goes out of print, it'll probably rise back up. Same with the Scizor. This Scizor is already at $15. Beautiful card. Like, this Scizor is freaking cool. Scizor is another fan favorite. This card is not playable at all. It's one of the more common rainbow cards. Austin already pulled one.
Sure did.
This, and we'll jump over here to Butterfree as well. We'll include Butterfree over here with Scizor. These are two popular Pokemon, but every set kind of has those common rainbows, if you will, like the most likely ones you are to pull. And Scizor and Butterfree take that title in this particular set. So these, I really don't think, I think it's going to take a while to see these rise in value. They do have a little bit of like nostalgia and popularity, but I think there's going to be a lot more of them available to people because they are the more common ones. So that's another, I guess there's so many factors that kind of go in there. So
however, to plug my own little thing here, if you would like to get your cards graded, I can do that for you. But a good idea, if you're looking long term, is those popular Pokemon like Greninja or Salamence or Butterfrees that will eventually be more valuable once the set is out of date or out of print. Go ahead, and if you pull extra ones, like get a couple of them graded, so when you get them back, you have it already. So then when prices start to climb, you've already jumped over that one hoop of getting your card graded and don't have to wait that 3 to 4 months to get a card back.
I watched TCA was on Polish Rob's podcast, which is a great podcast, by the way. If Polish Rob watches this, you have an awesome podcast too, my dude. But he actually interviewed TCA Gaming. TCA is by far the most influential person in this space as far as like setting the market, most trustworthy seller in this space, bar none. I mean, in his interview, he said he made like $1 million gross last year selling Pokemon. The guy knows what he's doing. Anyway, he was even talking about how Rob asked him like how much of Darkness Ablaze are you going to open up and how much of a new set, and he said he basically has a pallet of cases. He said, I didn't open up Rebel Clash because of the virus that was going around and stuff, and everything's just crazy, but he's opening up like an entire pallet of Darkness Ablaze, and he's just sending everything to PSA, like all the rainbows and stuff, so that he has them. I mean, he'll probably sell a bunch of them up front, but I imagine he'll hang on to some of them for when the prices start going up too. Some of these fan favorites are ones to do that with. Like I said, I don't know if this Butterfree and Scizor are going to necessarily go way up. Scizor probably has a better chance than Butterfree, in my opinion, because it's probably a little bit more popular. But, I mean, how common they are is the thing, too. So, out of them, I mean, you're going to see those pretty accessible early on and probably down the road, but those may go up in value once it's out of print.
And the thing is, if you're a gambling person, if you think way back in the 90s, you would have never thought, just base set cards were going to be worth as much as they are now. So if Pokemon keeps its popularity and keeps growing, who knows, 5-10 years from now, some of these cards that are worth next to nothing, even if it's like a $15 card now, ends up being like a $40 or $50 card 5 years from now. I mean, that's still growth. So as long as this keeps its popularity and going, and I'm always one of those that, like, if you like the card, even if it's not a popular card, because I have some cards that aren't very popular, but I get them graded because I like them and they go good in my collection
and stuff. So those may be ones to do that too. Next up, we're gonna go over to Cinescorch. Cinescorch is another example, both V and V Max, of very playable. By the way, the Scizor V4, we didn't touch on that. It's only $4, but that thing is gorgeous too.
Yes, it is. Pulled that one too.
Cinescorch V4 is currently about $13. I sold this one instantly. I did pull this one. I pulled the V and the V Hyper Rare last week in the same box. I sold this one instantly. It's a playable card. I don't personally like Cinescorch, but this is a classic case of it's good in the game. The Cinescorch VMAX, the Rainbow, is going for about $35. Lowest near mint is $31, and most of them are sitting around $35. The Cinescorch VMAX is playable. This attack does 40 more damage for each fire energy attached to this Pokemon. Then you may attach another fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. That's kind of crazy. So it's a good card. There'll probably be decks around it. That's another one that is pretty much, we've been saying it over and over again, playable. This set is very playable. We thought Rebel Clash was going to be the big set for like competitive, and it was to an extent with the boss's orders, but and the Dragapult. But this set, I think, probably blows Rebel Clash out of the water in terms of there's lots of cards that are going to be viable in the metagame for the card game. So
I would even keep an eye out on some of the trainers and like those energy cards, because there's one in particular. It's the powerful energy. Just an example, it says the attacks of this Pokemon card, when this card is attached, does an additional 20 damage when this card's activated. As well as like the heat, I think it's heat energy is another one. Those right there, as far as playability, those three cards, and the hiding energy, if you look at those are going to be very, very competitive cards. So even down to some of the smaller cards, I feel like this is a more playable set than Rebel Clash was.
One that we didn't grab, that we didn't even talk about before the start, I'll jump back over to the monitor, was the Turbo Patch. This is another solid trainer card. The secret rare is currently going for like $33, 30 to 33. That one, I mean, gold trainers are kind of, sometimes they hold their value, sometimes they don't. It's kind of a crapshoot. They're not really super collectible. So they have to be good or just really rare. Like we saw the Ultra Ball from the Sun and Moon base, boss's orders, like those have kind of held their value. But Turbo Patch is currently $30. Flip a coin of heads, attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your basic Pokemon that isn't a GX. That's okay. So that may be one to keep a lookout for. This Capture Energy secret rare is currently $20. I don't know if that one's going to hold its value or not. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. When you attach this card from your hand to a Pokemon, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. I don't know enough to know if that's any good or not.
I think it's good in a last-ditch effort scenario, because it's one of those things that, you know, when you play the game, if you run out of HP, obviously you lose. But if you do not have a Pokemon in your bench, when that Pokemon that is activated is killed or is destroyed, you automatically lose the entire match. So you always have to have Pokemon on your bench. So that's a good card, like last ditch to play, to get another Pokemon on your bench to keep you alive in the game. So
that one we may or may not see. Like the trainers are always real up in the air. Like boss's orders will probably hold its value for a while because it's Giovanni, so it has a collectible aspect at least. But a lot of these gold trends, I wouldn't look for them to hold too much, if I'm being honest. The Pokemon are probably the more centered thing you want to look at. Grimmsnarl is another one. That one's not super playable as far as I know. It hasn't really had too much value going into this just yet. Maybe if we get a rainbow one, because Grimmsnarl is kind of a fan favorite from Sword and Shield. So maybe if we get a rainbow in one of the next two sets, Champion's Path or Vivid Voltage, maybe that one will hold some value. But those are kind of the cards to look out for. The Eternitus, the Crobat are probably the big ones. We're talking about, like I said, everything not Charizard right now.
So we've kind of beat that one into the ground.
Yeah, so the Eternitus, the Crobat, Rillaboom is probably going to hold some value for collectability standpoint. Salamence will probably go down a little bit, then go back up after print.
Yep.
So we kind of have these different stages, and that's kind of things that you kind of learn going just forward once you're in the hobby and stuff for a little bit, and once you just kind of know what to look for. So you can kind of take these principles literally to any set, like when it comes out. So we are probably going to do one of these every time a set comes out. They usually come out on a Friday, so you'll probably see one of these on release day for just about every new set. Champion's Path will be the same way, and Vivid Voltage will do one of these. So that's kind of what we wanted to hit on today, just give you guys kind of an idea of market and stuff right now. Things always fluctuate. Take what we say for, you know, what you will. You know, we're not geniuses. Sometimes things go crazy. Like we've seen cards go up and down that weren't expected. Promos and all that kind of stuff can always change this stuff too, but right now this is kind of what we're looking at, what we think is going to happen, what cards are going to be valuable and stay valuable, what cards are going to lose their value, stuff like that. So we hope you enjoyed this. Do you have any other kind of last comments on all this stuff, Austin?
Nope. Just remember, if you're not a subscriber yet, head over to my YouTube. Tomorrow will be my first video posted, and why not? I'm gonna bust open a whole booster box for you guys.
Hey, there you go.
Hopefully I can get my luck again. You guys can see the Charizard VMAX pulled is as much hype as that thing has probably gone down at this point. It's still an awesome.
It's still a gorgeous card. It's still cool.
So yeah, I would say, last comments, any support would be great. But yeah, head over to my YouTube, like, subscribe, share. Same with this Gold Star podcast.
Go help him get to 100 subs. That'll help him out a lot, and also help the podcast as a whole because he can promote this more. So thank you guys again so much for all the support over this kind of first month of the podcast. It's been awesome. We're hoping to keep growing this thing, audience. So make sure you're sharing this with your friends and stuff if you enjoy it, like the video, everything like that. Real quick, I didn't cheat you guys. The mail cheated you out of a Darkness Ablaze video on Wednesday. We're supposed to start early. I was advertising that. My boxes should have arrived by the time this came up. We did some searching and stuff with the post office. We think I should have them by the time this goes up. If so, there will either be a video later on this afternoon after this goes live, or Sunday, one of the two. So be on the lookout for that. Follow me on socials, hit that bell so you do know when it is going live. But there will be a bonus video this weekend, either a second one today or on Sunday, which I don't usually post videos on Sunday. Tomorrow on this channel, we will be battling an entire booster box with my buddy Preston live over Zoom. Basically, we're going to be having it just like our live stream. Will be pack battling an entire booster box of Darkness Ablaze. So tomorrow, look forward to a booster box on Bearded Trainer's channel and 2 booster boxes on this one from me and Preston. So it's going to be a lot of Darkness Ablaze this weekend for you to go get acclimated with this set. We're excited for it. It's a lot of fun. Also excited for Champions Path next month. There's going to be a lot of new stuff headed your way from both my channel and Austin's over here. So thank you guys again so much for all your support. We love you guys, and we hope you enjoyed this. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Later.